Hey, I'm your host, Scott Dr. Jakes Goldfine, and this is Where'd You Get Your Funk From? For this episode, I'm pleased to welcome vocalist Petter Aagaard and producer Tomas Nerbo Smagesjo, masterminds behind the Norwegian funk act known as the Bump Squad. This dynamic duo recently released their third album since 2020. The sprawling and deeply funky 21-track Guilty as Funk follows Weird is the New Cool and He Who Dares Flares. All three titles put an exclamation point on the funk, and the fellows are calling their latest the climax of the band's CAPSLOCK trilogy. By way of Norway, guys, thanks for being here. How's everything?
Thank you for having us, first of all.
Yes, absolutely.
Very happy to be here, and we're good. We're in a funky Christmas mood.
Yes. We 2 weeks ago we released a new single that is not even on our latest album called "Merry Christmas, Baby," kind of like an homage to Bootsy and that kind of early '80s synthwave funk.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Well, I'll have to look out for that one.
Yes,
but,
sir.
Guys, thank you for making this happen. Appreciate it. And I had mentioned before we came on air, but this will be a few weeks before folks see it. But as we're recording this, it's the final show being recorded for 2025. So that's an honor for the Bump Squad to close out the year for us.
Definitely is. Definitely
Absolutely.
is.
So the way this goes, gents, is the first question is always the name of the show, which is where'd you get your funk from? And that has two parts. Part one is when did you first get exposed to it and have funk be a part of who you are? And how has funk shaped who you are?
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
So Tomas or Petter, who wants to go first?
If it's cool for you, Thomas, I can just jump at it.
Please do.
It's a very complicated question to answer because funk is it's truly in my genes. But what I can say is that I do have some vivid memories from the Norwegian television broadcast when Michael Jackson did his infamous moonwalk on Motown 25. I didn't know then that it was a funky experience, but I do remember the feeling my heart and the shivers down my spine gave me. But so that was perhaps the intro, but I also remember vividly the breakdancers back in the mid-'80s that just gave me more interest than other kind of music. But to answer your question, Scott, it's a very deep emotion behind this answer, because when I was 12, already into the Michael Jackson thing and already discovered Prince, there was something crazy with the band Delight and the song Groove is in the Heart. You know, that is featuring Bootsy Collins, Maceo Parker, Q-Tip. And I was 12 years old and I just got a little sniff, as you might say, of what the funk truly was. And that song and that music video on MTV introduced me to the P-Funk universe. And strangely, what I then discovered at the age of 13 was that all my favorite hip-hop songs had sampled Parliament Funkadelic. So it was basically a sign for me to go back in time to really get down and dirty with the real funk. And then you might say I fell down in the deep uncut vibe, because the commercial funk didn't intrigue me as much as the advanced funk. And I can actually go a little beyond and say that the first time I met Tomas, we were both musicians from each side of the city, both doing funky productions on our each type of productions. But the first thing we actually talked about when I met him was the deep, almost unknown Bootsy songs like It's a Musical from Ultrawave, and of course from Bootsy's debut album, Psychotic Bump School, that track. And when we looked at each other and we understood that that is the real funk, we just knew that we had to work together. So that is basically a kind of answer to your question. But how funk has changed me? Well, it's in everywhere. It's in my positivity. It's in my energy. It's basically in the way I buy clothes. But in Norwegian, we have something called jante. It's a jante law where basically it says you don't think you are something special. That is how Norwegians are grown up. So we always tone it down a bit, but you can't kill the funk. That's basically my answer, Scott.
Nice. Did a good job with that. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thomas,
You're up.
Yeah.
Well, I could consider myself lucky, as my parents and my 6-year older brother had really great record collections. So the first funk album I ever heard, which is still my favorite to this day, is Headhunters by Herbie Hancock. And my mom had that record. And I remember the first time I started listening to music on vinyl, I started to dig into my parents' records. And then I found this album, and I found it really intriguing because of the cover. You know, that has this colored picture with this circle in the middle, the face. And then I was so curious what it was, and I started to listen to it, and it was just mesmerizing because I had no idea how the sounds were made and how they kind of could play like that. I didn't know how to play guitar at that time, and I reckon I'm about like 10 or something. And then I remember that is my first like really experience with like true funk, but I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it was, but I realized I need some more of this. And then, of course, as a kid, I discovered Michael Jackson, and I got really impressed and, by Thriller. And then later on, there was this funny, weird group called, what they called again? Break Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there are 3 break dancers. And they had this kind of 80s funk vibe. And I think this is a one-off album. I think they just released it, and they are breakdancers, and they had to release music. I don't know much about them. I just remember that album. And those 3 albums just got me started into how I make music today. And all kinds of music I've made throughout the years is basically influenced by funk, because of this is that's how it started. And that's my
DNA.
Foundation.
Thank you. Foundation. That's exactly what it is. That's my foundation. And then my dad had he had Duke Ellington, he had Miles Davis, he had Chick Corea, and then all this kind of music I was kind of exposed to, as a child, and then kind of shaped me. And my older brother, I remember he bought I didn't know that music at the time, but he bought The Predator by Ice Cube. And then I started listening to that, and wow, where's this funk from? What's this?
Yeah.
And then he had Beastie Boys, and I just started realizing that all this kind of music is connected somehow, and it's got some. And then I discovered, The Chronic by Dr. Dre. And then, what is this cool music? And then I realized where all the songs came from.
It's basically the same as my story.
Exactly. And then I realized, oh my God, it's Parliament. Who are these guys? And then I started buying their records, and and so it moved on. And it kind of shaped me into being a musician that wanted to perform and wanted to produce and wanted to make these kind of vibes, because I remember so well how they made me feel. When I listen to Headhunters today, I have this explicit, fantastic feeling of warmth and joy. The same as with Thriller. The same as with the It's a Musical album. I just have this feeling. Ultrawave, thank you.
Yeah.
I just get this feeling in my body that is fantastic. I want everybody else to feel that. That's how we
Amen.
make music. That's how we make music. That's how I make my songs. That's how I like kind of, because I'm thinking, oh, this feeling I have, I want everybody else to feel it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think that stayed with me since the first time I started playing guitar, because I wanted to tell people that how does it feel to be able to master a beautiful guitar lick, you know? You can play it and, you know, show everybody. It's not show off, it's like showing, you know, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. And I think funk is a fantastic kind of medium to show your feelings.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you, Thomas. It's funny because I'm a bit older than you guys, I think, but one of my first exposures to what would become funk was also Michael Jackson, but it was when he was part of the Jackson 5. I remember being in grade school and hearing those records, and that kind of set me on my path. So
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The Love You Save is actually one of my favorite songs to this day.
Yeah, that was definitely one of them. Yeah, Love You Save, ABC, Mama's Pearl.
Yeah.
And then Herbie Hancock, I first discovered him with the Man-Child album, and then went back to the one you were talking about, but fell in love with him too when I first heard him. Just unbelievable.
The Man-Child album is amazing. It's an important piece of work. It's just it's a class work album. It's just so incredible. I don't have words to describe that album. It's just outstanding.
Totally agree. So great. So let's talk a little bit about how you progressed with your own music. What did you each do before you kind of connected with each other musically?
Well, yeah, I can start, and I'm going to try to make it fast. Me and Thomas, we met the day the Earth closed down, during the pandemic. So it was like the 12th of March. That was the day when Norway closed down. But before that, I had been a professional musician for 15 years, full-time. And in 2009, I actually, after 5 years in the studio, decided to work with Ken Lewis, an American mixer and producer that has produced and mixed Kanye West. And I was young and had my dreadlocks and had that young energy flowing. So basically, I released this album right here is under the name Positivity, the Funklectic, which is basically a kind of a rip-off of the outtakes of early Prince bootlegs, like the original version of Irresistible Bitch, Feel You Up, all that kind of rebirth of the flesh. When I say copying, I meant the essence of those unreleased early 80s Oberheim synth flared sound. I basically wanted to make that album so Prince could recognize me, because of course Prince was my idol. I met him once in Copenhagen in 1998, and he was basically a jackass to me, but he did me a kind of a favor, because back in 98 I was a fan of Prince, and when I met him at the nightclub and he was rude to me, I just told myself, next time I meet him, I'm going to be a musician myself, and I will meet him on a different way, not as a fan, but as a male Nick Acosta or a male Macy Gray, like up-and-coming funk artist. So this was kind of an ego project for me to meet Prince. And I met him in 2007, 2 years before this album, in London, and it was a surreal experience. But the thing is that I decided to go more spiritual. I'm actually an atheist, but I'm very much into the universe. And the fun thing, Scott, is that of course, I've been following your YouTube channel for a long time, and this album right here, Galactic Funk, We Come in Pairs, that is my project together with a producer called Tormod Leite. And I remember you had this in the background over your keyboard for quite a while. And to make a long story short, that album made me become friends with another producer, and we made this Prince tribute with a cover by Troy Gua, an American Seattle artist. And all this came to the news, and suddenly me and Thomas met because he had read about me in the news and stuff like that. So next, besides doing recording of music, I also been writing books. I've written a Prince biography, a kind of controversial Prince biography actually, and a controversial Star Wars book, and all this while I'm acting as a actor on theater, like musicals like Saturday Night Fever and stripper musicals like The Full Monty and Cats and stuff like that. So basically all this ended up with me meeting Tomas, because Tomas, as he can say himself, has also been in the business for a long time, and he can say it himself, of course, but he has been producing famous Norwegian pop artists and even working with the South Korean K-pop scene. So Tomas, be my guest.
Yeah.
Before you jump in, Thomas, I just want to say I caught a glimpse of that cymbal guitar back there.
Yes, sir.
I want one of those for my own.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little
yeah.
story. We of course we tested this guitar a little in the studio, and all the funk got it cracked up. So this kind of lovely thing that stands out are actually broke in two. So now it's even have more value. It's
Claude
been
guitar
used.
too, I see back there. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's a Gibson, right? You have. It looks like a Gibson. You have, Scott.
B? Yeah, it's a SG.
Oh yeah.
As a SG, yeah, that's right. Yeah, beautiful guitar. It is.
Yeah.
Well, for my part, I've been producing since I'll say maybe around 1999, 2000, perhaps, but not in a big scale at that time. But later on, I've produced different kind of artists. There's a lot of Norwegian hip hop, K-pop artists, Danish, Russian. All kinds of artists, basically trying to figure out how to make people sound better. That's the thing. And I think it's gone quite well. Today I'm able to work with this project and my other solo project, which is a filmatic dystopian electronic project called Machine Dream. It was made from my wish to be able to make this film music for the movie Blade Runner, the first one, 1982. And I love that soundtrack, and I thought I would love to make this kind of music to this kind of movie. So I made this album inspired by Blade Runner and kind of visualized how I would make it sound like. So from back then to today, it's been a long journey with loads of different experiences, and I think that is what has given me the opportunity to produce music in one style, but with all kinds of inspirations. As in a lot of our songs, there's a lot of you funk has always got this jazz inspiration, jazzy chords, but you got the beats, but I got more pop chords, pop jazz, like a K-pop vibe on some of our songs. We got this song called the Stendhal Syndrome from the previous album, and that one has a bit of experimental pop vibe chord, and I think they're a bit K-pop. I listened to it later and I realized this is basically like a K-pop inspiration for me, but the song is still funky. Its song is still like a pure funk song. But I've taken all the things that I've learned throughout the years from all the different. I worked with a metal band. I toured with a metal band as I was DJing for the metal band, like turntablists thing. I toured with them in Germany and Mexico City, and the music is so different from what we do, but the way of thinking in different settings, thinking how to express, how to make the whole sound of the band sound better. It's always a really, really important thing for me. So I don't listen to myself playing. I'm listening to what's happening right now in the band. Yeah. And then I had this jazz band where I was scratching, and then there was me on turntables, drums, guitar, upright bass, and we played jazz, but it was beat jazz, like 90s boom bap beats, but jazz guitar, and then saxophone, and then some Fender Rhodes, and I was scratching on top of it, and I was always listening at how to kind of get this like a sound, how to make it sound like a complete band, not to show my skills, but to make it fit into this whole vibe. And I think that's been always been my strength. And this is also why I prefer producing, because I'm listening to the wholehearted, the whole thing. So when me and Peter got together, we started talking about Bootsy Collins, and then we started talking about, like, I think the conversation was something like, "What's your favorite funk track ever?"
Yeah.
And I think I said the Bootsy Collins Psychedelic Bump School.
Yeah. Psychotic. Yeah.
Psychotic Bump School. Yeah. And then you mentioned it's a musical, and then we were like, okay, I think we need to go together to this studio that I have right down the road, because this is.
Yeah.
And then at that time I had, like, I think about 10 tracks. That was funk tracks. And then I said, okay, I got loads of tunes that you need to listen to, which nobody's singing on yet, because I tried to find a singer that could actually match and do the thing, but nobody could. And then I met Peter, and he's like, okay, he's into everything, as in he can try everything. He'll try whatever you say. And then you ended up in, like, which I remember Funkatopia said, the Aqua Boogie vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Mentioned that thing, and I remember thinking, we need something like, we need to go Parliament, we need to go. And then Peter is like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we'll try. And then usually it's just nailed at the first take. It's just always, it always works. I send Peter a song, and he sends a message back saying, or we're here in the studio. This is my studio, by the way. And then I play him a new track, and he's like, it's scary how we have the exact same taste in music, because I'll send Peter a song, he'll come to the studio and record it, and it's done. Peter's ready. He's ready. He has written the melody, he has written the lyrics, and then we sit down and then we start recording. And I think that's like the result of, experimenting, because funk is experimental music. If you listen to Parliament, it's really experimental.
Bernie Worrell especially,
definitely. It's something else. It's not. You don't hear these kind of things in other type of music, not in that way, especially not in that mix. So I told you, Peter, I listen a lot to Sir Noise the Funk Void. Knows the Funk Void.
Yeah.
Sir Knows the Funk. Yeah.
Yes.
From and it's just. I get hung up on that song, I get hung up in the vibe, and then this is like, I want to do this, but I never copy it. I go to the studio and I do my vibe. True. But it gives me a lot of vibe, and that's the mix that they do. There's so much different going on. Put on headphones and listen to what's going on in the left ear and the right ear and in the center. It's just it'll blow your mind. All the Bernie Burrell especially.
Yeah,
there's loads of weird sounds going on that side, squeaking, and then like just noise. It's just incredible.
The bass riff is killer.
Always killer.
Yeah.
And they put the bass loud in center. There's always a loud bass guitar on this one, and I love that. So it's a vibe thing.
We're getting. Sorry,
sounds like you guys have a similar sensibility. Is what I think you're. Yeah.
Sorry for getting too technical, Scott.
About what?
The bass information stuff. Hopefully, your viewers will like it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, tell us a little bit about Norway as a musical location. I mean, what is the radio like? What do most people listen to and like? How left field are you guys in Norway?
Oh, it's a very good question. I can start, and hopefully Thomas will contribute with my theory. But Norway is a very interesting country when it comes to music, because on the top it's very sophisticated. If you listen to the three most popular radios, they still play yacht rock, and we love yacht rock just as much as anybody else. But Toto is still being played on Norwegian radio. I'm using just some small examples here, but the irony is that when something gets too big, there will always be a contra band, and in Norway we have the black metal scene that is very dark. And I personally have never been into the black metal scene, but I both understand it and respect it because it's something about the cold and 5 months a year. It's a very dark period, very little sunlight. It gets on your skin, and then if you're an artist, you create how you feel. So it's one of the biggest export music we have in Norway is actually black metal, and I personally know some of those musicians, and they're lovely people, but they're artists in their own right, going a different way. Having said that, we also have something fascinating called mountain jazz, which is basically sophisticated jazz with a little heavy burden on top of its shoulder. It's a little sad. Norwegian people likes to listen to sadness. And to answer your question, Scott, me and Thomas actually get extra respect from musicians because we go the totally opposite way of the sadness. We go the energy, positivity, funky route. And we don't get radio airplay, of course, because it's very un-Norwegian to go eccentric. And I can use a very weird example that hopefully you both will like. And when I write lyrics, I don't write about the obvious funky stuff. Let me give you an example. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, they are funky. LaToya Jackson is the funk. What I mean with that is the personality of LaToya Jackson being this eccentric sister that makes intrigues and controversy. That's the funk. That's the lyrics I like to sniff into. That's why one of the songs are called "Call LaToya" in our new album, and it's basically about a telephone hotline she had where she would talk dirt about her brother and sister. You know what I mean? And I get intrigued by those weird stories because that is basically the essence of funk for me. If you deep dive. But sorry, I'm going a little off the course here. But what I'm trying to say is that I like to sing about and write about eccentric things, but Norwegians like to sing about dark things or the yacht rock happy things. I just like to go somewhere else, and I can guess Thomas.
It's a lot of broken heart lyrics. There's a lot of love. Nothing wrong with that, but I think there's a lot of the popular music in Norway is a bit like that, focused on that. Our lyrics is completely different. They're way out of the Norwegian course, and also our music is. So we're not basically a very Norwegian band. Compared to what Norwegians listen to. Yeah, so I think we have this. It's like this different spirit.
For
Not
example,
to blow our own horn, but it's a different spirit. It's like something else. It's just I'm not going to say there's a lot of, but there's some Norwegian funk artists as well, and they're really good. But we do sound completely different. We got more of that. What I just described, the parliament weirdness, also in the lyrics, but also in the sound. Our sound is vivid, in a sense. So it's quite different. Like you said, Peter, Norwegian black metal is a huge export. There's also Norwegian pop. It's quite big.
Yes.
So you have Sigrid and Aurora, and there's a lot of these artists. They're huge abroad, and they sing. And their own special thing. What I think is special about it, also these artists and the black metal artists, they have their own special thing. There's something there that you can attach to, like the vibe. There's something that you like. Oh, this gives me something, and I think that's the most important thing. This is why it's getting big.
Yeah.
Well, do many U.S. artists perform there?
Oh, yes. I can even brag so much to say that, for example, Prince, who is obviously one of mine and Thomas' big idols, he came already to Norway in 1988 on the Love Sexy tour. He returned in 93 on the Act 2 tour, to promote his Love Symbol album. And also he came back in 2002 on the One Night Alone tour, the Rainbow Children, my favorite Prince album, by the way, and my favorite Prince tour. That was just pure funk for me. And
Those
also he came
tours.
back. Yeah. It's amazing. I met Eric Leeds and stuff like that. I was the happiest guy around. And of course, Prince came back again in 2011. And of course, so he's basically been. To answer your question, Norwegians, of course, love the Bruce Springsteen and the Bob Dylan sound, but they are very open for. This is basically like a Central Europe phenomenon. England, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Denmark are very open to, especially in the mid '80s. The androgynous, mysterious, artsy pop. Like that Prince was really fronting, and we embraced him. I believe more than most Americans, to be quite honest with you. We didn't get scared of the Love Sexy album cover. We're like, oh, that guy must be bold to pose nude on the front cover. We didn't go like, yuck. We're like, this man apparently has got some big kahunas. And it's a very European way of thinking that. Not to brag again, but and Norway is very forefront in welcoming artist. And I remember like almost every year I go down to Rotterdam to the North Sea Jazz Festival, because their booking is like, it's Bootsy Collins, it's Janelle Monáe, it's Herbie Hancock, all the great funk are like 3 days in a row. And so basically it's like a mecca for funk lovers to be a part of the European music scene, because all the great funk and soul artists do visit us, and we really appreciate them. And when I talk to them, when I have the pleasure to actually talk to those artists, they say the same thing, that they appreciate the Central European audience. It goes back to the 50s when Miles Davis came back to Paris, and the mayor of Paris and his wife wanted to be Miles Davis's mistress, and Miles Davis was treated like a royalty. And then the day he came back to New York, he was, I'm sad to say, treated like trash again. His words, not mine. And I remember that interview vividly, because that's how we are. We are Europeans can be, thankfully, a very colorblind when it comes to art. We appreciate the artist more than judging the book by its cover, I have to say. I don't know if Thomas can add something or.
Miles Davis played in Norway in 1986, I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
so there's a lot of American artists here. I think there's a lot. The challenge is that there are approximately 5 million people. So you don't get to put, if you book like, let's say that you would book Bootsy Collins, he would probably play on a really large stage. He'd play on a small venue. So I think there's a lot of artists that prefers like Sweden, Denmark, and further down Europe, because there's not that much people going to these kind of concerts.
I feel like those audiences too are not as fickle as Americans are, or jaded. That they seem to still appreciate legacy material.
Sir.
And so I know with Prince, it was frustrating for me at that time in the late 80s and early 90s, because he kind of started just, skipping doing much in America. And he was just abroad all the time because he was really enjoying that vibe,
That's
true. It is true. He actually said that at many occasions. So you're absolutely right, Scott. Really.
Very interesting. Well, I certainly knew that about the Netherlands and some of the other places out there. I wasn't sure about Norway, so thank you for filling me in on that. Really interesting. Yeah. So how do you guys generally work together? How far apart are you geographically, and how do you, do you get together in person, or you send files back and forth? How do you do your thing?
We do both. We're not that far away from each other. We've got like 15 minutes with the car. And then we'll send files. I usually send instrumentals to Peter, and he sits by himself. There's a thing that we do well, I think, is that we can work on each our side on the same song, of course. And then we sit by ourselves, work with our ideas, and then we get together and we put them together. And that's when they usually explode, I think.
Yes.
Because Peter, get your time by yourself, you sit and write, and you kind of, if you were in the studio while writing, I've done that too with other artists, I usually sit around and wait. you know, for the singer to write, to kind of come up with lyrics, and then I think it's working quite well. But then we sometimes meet up, and then we start brainstorming, and then we talk about, oh, we should have done something like that. We should do these kind of things, and it, you know, all depends on what
Yeah.
mood we are. But we usually meet up here in my studio, which is called the
Yes.
Bump Shelter, by the way.
Yes.
So the Bump Shelter Studios is right here.
Yeah.
It's brand new.
yeah.
It's brand new. There is nothing on the walls, just equipment and everything.
Yeah.
So we're here, and we work with the ideas. We brainstorm and we talk about concepts. I mean, Peter, you have great concepts, and we kind of discuss.
Thank you.
And
I can also add to Thomas that all the vocals are done with Thomas by my side, you know. So we always do all the vocals and the finishing touches. If I feel like there should be an extra chorus, you know, from his demo, we add that always together, you know. And it's a very important to do that, you know, that last 1/3 completely together. And I don't know if I should say this, because I don't want to jinx it, but me and Thomas never actually have an argument. We always agree. Of course, we sweat, and we, you know, for example, the opening song on Guilty as Funk, well, the second song is called Vibranium, you know, Vibranium. We basically recorded 3 times those vocals on the verses and choruses before we found the right melody, you know. So and then that basically means 3 days.
To be honest, I think I was much more than 3 times. To be honest with you, we did loads of tests on that one, and we kind of never found the right vibe. That was the thing.
But to put it in the time zone, to record one track, it's 1 day. So basically, when we have to do 3 or 4 versions, that's basically 4 or 5 days thrown to waste. But it's not thrown to waste, of course. But we have to sometimes do errors. We don't call them errors, But we always even then we don't argue, because we both feel that there should be more. And to be really honest and braggalicious, we gotten some good reviews from our second album, especially, and we felt it as a duty to blow everybody away with the third album. So we put, you know, the bar extra high. And it's a curse as well as a blessing.
The last album has 21 songs, and there's a lot of work behind it. But the most fun part of this job is, for me, is when I sit here in the Bump Shelter, and I get my bass guitar, I get my guitar, I have my synths, I start messing around, and I get ideas, and then I make the instrumentals and send them to Peter. And then when I finished, next day, new instrumental, send it to Peter. It's like manufacturing, and it's a really great feeling. It's really fantastic. And then Peter's like, "Oh, cool! I'm gonna write on this one. I love it." And then, "Oh, next one, oh, I love it. I'm gonna write on this one too." And then, I love it. I'm gonna write. And then we got 21 songs. I mean, we got more songs. We have what do we have now? We have like almost 10 songs ready for the next album.
And it's going to be called the next album is going to be called Atomic Bump. It's a little dystopian. I just have to add, Scott, that this energy of me and Thomas, it rubs off, because we have the best horn players in the country that also want to contribute to our music and write the horn arrangement, you know, to help out. And sometimes we have a person on talk box or extra synth, you know. So we in the music environment of Norway, the other funky musicians ask themselves to join us to be a part of the Bump Squad, and it's like a P-Funk thing, you know. Everybody's welcome, you know. The more, the merrier.
Absolutely.
Well, so it's fitting you went with the term squad, because it's like a, you know. But that name is from the Prince influence, from the MPG.
Yes, sir. Yes,
absolutely.
Sir. It's absolutely. There's a story behind that as well, because as I mentioned to you, Scott, the Rainbow Children is my favorite Prince album, but my absolute favorite side project of Prince, you know, with the NPG, is the Exodus album. Because, as you know, Scott, that album is basically Prince's love letter to P-Funk. It is basically a Parliament album. And when he goes into that alter ego, Tora, I was 16 when that album came out in 1995. I believe it was like the 11th of March, 1995. And it blew me away because that album introduced me even more to the weirdness and the coolness of funk. So basically, that song particular, just I'm not gonna curse on your YouTube channel, but it was so beautifully rhythmically added the curse words, and you have the sample of Dave Chappelle in the background, and it's just. The bump. I can actually tell you a little funny story, Scott. It's basically that Thomas told me four songs down in the first album, we have to make a name of this band, and I wrote a list of 20 names, and the first name was the Bump Squad. And when I was supposed to read the 20 names, I go like, "Okay, Thomas, are you ready? Number 1. The Bump Squad," and Thomas goes, "That's it." So we never went down the list,
I don't know the rest of the names at all. Actually,
Exactly,
that was it.
Yeah. And of course, it's also an homage to Bootsy because he does the and some bump music, in Psychotic Bump School, and bump. And I've always been infatuated with that word because it's another word for funk in my head. Anyway, I don't know how you can look at it in America, Scott, but I mean, you have the freak bass and the bump assembly that I actually discovered that name after we made our name. But great minds think alike.
Yeah, well, it's a great song, great album, and those are for sure two of my favorite Prince-related albums too.
Yeah.
Rainbow Children is polarizing for a lot of people, but I thought it was his return to just, genius. Just doing it thematically and doing something challenging.
Yes, sir.
I love that record. So,
and it's got that thing where you get curious, like I explained earlier. Like the first time I heard Herbie Hancock, it's got that thing.
Yeah,
and and it's been many years since I had that kind of record experience. It's just got that vibe that you want to know what it is, what is going on here. I need more of this, and it's really impressive.
Can I add a little thing, Scott? I really enjoyed your YouTube channel here 5 days ago when you and your friends had the top 20 countdown of the best Prince funk tracks. Particularly when Scarlet Pussy was mentioned, because I think that's a funk masterpiece. That's actually one of the songs when I'm on the bus alone, I just had to put it on because I always hear something new snacks in that song. But I have to arrest one of your friends, Dwayne Tootle, a person I, of course, like and respect. I got both his books, of course, and he seems like a lovely fellow. But he did say something wrong on that YouTube episode, and he said... the Rainbow Children is too jazzy for me, he said. And I have to arrest him on that because it's actually only one song on the album that has jazzy elements, and that's the opening track.
The title track.
All the other songs are funk and soul tracks. So it's almost like he hasn't given himself the favor of listening through the first track, which I also like, by the way, because the rest of the album is pure funk. But, that's my humble opinion. I guess you agree, Scott.
I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you heard my picks on that show. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Great. We are so in sync. It's freaking scary.
Hopefully you caught the Parliament one, Parliament Funkadelic one too.
You mean?
No, they not. The episode?
No. Oh no. We haven't checked that video. We have to. Can you share with us if it's any Psychotic Bump School or it's a musical on it?
No. We're going to do a separate show for Bootsy.
Okay.
This one is only Parliament Funkadelic.
Okay.
The other acts are going to be separate. So, but Sir Nose was one of mine, and
yeah. Well, we agree right there.
One of mine.
Well, that was number one right out of the gate. So we knew that was going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to pick it because I go last. I let everyone else go first.
Yeah.
Sir Nose is special, though. Sir Nose is special. That's something else. I haven't heard any song like that before or after. It's just outstanding.
Agreed. So let's get a little more deep into the latest album then. So you mentioned a track, the second track, and I have some notes and comments. I'm going to go through them with you guys. So
awesome.
Well, one of the things I want to say is that, besides the groups that we've talked about, Prince and P-Funk and all that, and I think I mentioned to you, Peter, in a message, a couple of them, but some of the other influences I feel and I hear in your music on this record are Sun, as I had said,
Yes, sir.
Dayton, Ohio, great group, also Roger and Zap,
Yes, sir.
and also groups like, Midnight Star,
Ooh.
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
Lenny White with 29.
Mm.
It's tracks like Peanut Butter, if you guys are familiar with that, and Kid Stuff, those kinds of
Yes, sir.
songs.
Yes, sir.
And Mass Production, Firecracker kind of vibe. So
Yeah,
you went deep. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
it's all from that late 70s,
Yeah.
horn-driven
Yeah.
and funk,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting. It's a really cool list. I mean, the references are beautiful, and it makes me proud, to be honest.
Yeah, me and Thomas had a deep conversation about what are the best 10 years that hangs together in the music history, and we agreed on 1974 until 1984, especially for the funk, So, for example, when I DJ at nightclub, I only play rare funk from 74 to 84 because it's like that's basically what the Bump Squad is all about. Yeah.
I love the Midnight Star reference. That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I never thought of it, but was that reference to a certain song, or like in general reference to the things you hear in the entire album?
Well, no, I really feel it in just the sound that you guys have. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. It's not a particular track per se, but
That's
these are the
nice.
ingredients I feel I hear,
Yeah.
infusing the influence of the overall sound. So
No Parking on the Dance Floor is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
the track that you mentioned before, the Vibrating Yum, deep bass groove on that one, and it actually reminds me a little bit of the bass rhythm of Bulletproof by George Clinton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I'm trying to think what inspired the bass line for that one. But it's definitely 80s George Clinton. That's the inspiration from that song, definitely. And I was tweaking my synth to find that fat bass line, that bass line. So basically, it's a bass line and drums. That's it.
Yeah.
There's some guitar chops, but that's all you need. That's all you need.
I can give you a little trivia, Scott. We actually had a bass slap on that song as well, but it was too much. We had to give it more air. Yeah.
Wait, too much bass? I'm not.
Yeah.
I love the Moog bass and rhythm guitar throughout the whole record.
Oh yeah,
just really good.
Thank
stuff.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear.
And just a lot of fun wordplay, throughout. And so it's got that.
You, sir.
Of course, George Clinton's like the master sort of that. And, so much of the funk, the really good fun, silly funk, serious silly, as they call it.
Yeah. When we started the first album, we called it, what did we call it? Cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Looney Tune Logic is a song in the first album. And we call we at that time defined our funk as loony funk.
Yeah, basically like
Looney Tunes funk.
The Looney Tune logic phenomenon where every rule is broken. That's how we wanted to make our funk, loony. We wanted basically people to think that we were insane. And to be really honest with you, Scott, the first two albums, people actually thought we were a little insane when they heard it. And we were like, thank you.
It's great to have fun with that sort of persona, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. It is.
The track after that is another favorite of mine, Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh,
just really hot rhythm guitar and just like a rubbery bass,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool one. There's an electro funk vibe on that one, which is a great inspiration for us as well.
We should tell him the secret, Thomas. You have a very unique purple bass pedal. You should show him, because that pedal, not many people know about it, but it's perhaps the most funky of the modern bass pedals around. It looks like this.
This is the secret. This is the purple secret.
Yeah.
And you see, it's all button. This is my favorite setting. So it's right here. This is the perfect funk setting. If you put it this to all the guys that own, the people that own this bass, this pedal, this is the funk setting.
The settings look like they're in opposition to each other.
They are, and that's the thing. It's like it's like compression. You need to send a signal hot in and then kind of break it down and pump it up.
Yeah,
that's what this does.
Yeah. Shout out to Spectrum.
shout out to Spectrum.
Yeah. But thank you for the compliment, Scott, because Drinking the Kool-Aid is also one of my favorites. And I hope I'm not sounding egoistical to say this, but that's the song I like to go back to myself and listen to, because I want to dance when I listen to it. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I feel it. And actually, there's a Kool-Aid track on the last Parliament record from 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know. Wow. Yeah. Because I've been always obsessed with that title, Drinking the Kool-Aid, when I did my research and understanding where it came from. You know, you probably know the story, Scott, but it came from some...
James Jones.
Yes.
The mass suicide.
Yes, sir. So basically, the song is about different people who just follow things. And I'm making it a little funny. And if you love the Phantom Menace... You have drank the Kool-Aid, so I'm putting a little funny spin on it, It's not about suicide, but it's
good
about,
reference. Yeah.
Thank you. I was very happy. Actually, I remember calling Thomas. Damn, I managed to put the Phantom Menace in the lyrics. I'm so happy because I'm a Star Wars geek, as all funky people are, and it's also when me and Thomas are in studio, when we need a little timeout, we just talk Star Wars philosophy, and we get back on the funk very fast after that.
We Go in Sizzler, little like, actually that's the one that specifically reminded me a little bit of the track Peanut Butter by Lenny Wayne 29 and Firecracker by Mass Production.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool to hear. I mean, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's that song is particularly cute because I remember when I was 12 watching the amazingly good movie White Man Can't Jump, and all the trash talking, and I was 12 years old and in love with the African American culture, as
Rosie Perez, Wesley Snipes.
Yes, and there's one of the friends of Wesley Snipes' character that just go, we go and Sizzler, we go and Sizzler. I didn't even know what Sizzler was. I just imagined it must be a good restaurant. And when we did this album, I did the research and I found out that it is an amazing restaurant. And so basically, it's a shout out to one of my favorite movies of all time.
The fun thing is that when I sent Peter that track, Peter listened to it and said, "Oh, this is Sizzler."
Yeah.
You heard it at once. This is Sizzler. That was your first reaction to that track.
Yeah.
You were like, "That's it. I'm coming over to the studio anytime you're ready."
Yeah.
It just happened.
I appreciate that reference. I didn't know where it came from, but I love that movie too. It's a fantastic movie. So you reminded me of that just now.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson also in that one.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. I was going to skip over to the next one that I really am into, but I got to just mention that title of Cyberfunk Synesthesia.
Yes, sir.
That's quite a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, and I can be really. I can tell you a cool funky trivia. That was supposed to be the name of the album. Cyberfunk Synesthesia was supposed to be this album. It was only 12 tracks back then, and it was all synth, no horns. And it was Thomas, my producer and co-partner, that said, "No, we need more. We need like a double it. We need to blow everybody away with a double album." But basically, what Cyberfunk Synesthesia means, and it's a very deep meaning behind it. It's actually one of my deepest lyrics, because I see music in synesthesia. Like I see music in colors. And Pharrell Williams, a lovely man, by the way, he talked about synesthesia a couple of years ago, and I was so naive back in my teens because I thought everybody saw music in colors. So basically, it is my way of, every time Thomas touches all those vintage synthesizers, I don't really look at the knobs. I just see the colors that I like, and that's what we go for, And so basically, cyberfunk, the futuristic digital funk future that we will eventually experience, that is how I see music, especially our music. So that's basically what this song is about. It's seeing music in a funky way.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a term that I always forget what it's called. You know, I see music in colors. I'm like, oh yeah, that's called.
Yeah, exactly. Synesthesia. But I
Synesthesia.
of course say synthesia just to, you know, put a little extra flair on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Cue the Goosebumps. That one is like a little more, I would say maybe the most like poppy track.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And boy, do we have a great story behind that, Scott. Thomas can tell it, but I can do the intro.
Yeah,
It's basically, and it's very moving because I have a very, very big love for Mr. Quincy Jones. And to make the long story short, I was on the train on my way to the studio to meet Thomas the day Quincy Jones died. And Thomas sent me a message and he's like, cancel the studio session. We have to make another song today. We have to make a tribute to Quincy Jones. You know, when we make tribute to Quincy Jones, we're talking about, you know, the off the wall production of Michael Jackson and the Dude. You know, the
Dude,
late '70s,
Early Brothers
almost.
Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly,
And
exactly.
the way he produced George Benson, you know, back in the late '70s. So basically, I said, well, we are the Bump Squad. And Quincy always said he wanted goosebumps when he heard the final result of his songs. And Quincy was called Q by his friends. I like, okay, Q the goosebumps. You know, that's basically maybe something he sometimes said. So I told Thomas on my way in my train that we have to sing about One of a Kind. This was your Quest, you know, Quest record. So basically, it's a big shout out to Quincy Jones, and the entire album is dedicated to Quincy Jones. It even says so on the liner notes. So we did, and we wanted to make it so beautiful that the next song, Funk Fluffin', became the most dirty, you know, just to put everybody off. But maybe Thomas would like to add a little more about the production behind Cue the Goosebumps, because
Yeah,
even my girlfriend likes that one.
Oh, really? Wow. The thing is that, yeah, so he died, and then I think there was a night before it happened. So I texted you that morning while I knew you were on the train.
Yeah.
So I started making the demo. I started making the track because I was like, okay, God, this is important. We need this song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now our third album is coming out, and this is one of our huge inspirations. And all the music that he has produced, you know, it's just really important. It's like someone important left. And then I remembered starting with strings, trying to figure out like the disco vibe strings that he had. And then I started playing around with this. It's funny that you mentioned George Benson, because they did a lot of bass lines. George Benson had like synth bass lines. Like now and then on this, I can't remember the song, but the thing is that there's a vibe. And I didn't listen to anything. It was from my memory of how I felt when listening to George Benson, and you know how I felt when I was listening to the Dude.
Oh,
so that was just a pure like a heartfelt sound that had to be a Quincy Jones song. And then I finished it off that night. I was sitting up late and recording guitars and, you know, synths, everything, and that song just happened. It just worked immediately. And then next morning I called Peter, this session today will be different.
yes.
We're doing another song.
Yeah.
Because we have to do it now. Now the vibe is right.
Yeah, and I can tell you a little secret, Scott, and this you might enjoy, because I had written the lyrics on the train. I had 2 sentences left that I didn't figure out. I went on my phone and I saw Bootsy Collins mention these words. He said, "We've lost an institution. There will never be a substitution." And like, that's exactly what this song needs, those lines. So I stole it from Bootsy.
Yeah.
He
Don't
gets
tell
a really
anyone.
small co-credit. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Well, thank you for that, guys. The next track that you had mentioned it rolls into, and I had told you this before, is definitely one of my favorites because it's one of the most down and dirty funk tracks on the entire album, Funk Fluffin', which definitely has a Bootsy style to it. And I feel like, you know, the Camille kind of vocal thing that Prince would do.
Oh man.
Yeah, and real horns on that one?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
real horns on the entire album.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
first of all, Scott, thank you, because I have to not only compliment you on your taste, but that is also the song that we have gotten the most compliments on. You know, people like that funk fluffing, even in like super duper musicians that we know, like that's the jam. Even our record company, like that's the song we like.
It's the song, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not rude to your viewers now, but it's basically me trying to make a porn funk. You know, fluffing is a word that is in the
yeah.
porn industry. And I told Thomas, I have to make a song called The Funk Fluffer. And Thomas like, are you sure? Like, no, I'm not sure, but you know, I have to go that way. And funk fluffing is basically what it ended up being. And you know, the Camille and the Tora Tora voice talking together. And it's one sentence I'm very happy with. It's we're talking about what muses we have, and we're basically talking to the great ones, the great musicians, and we're like, yeah, Betty Davis is our muse too, you know. So basically, we have the same muse at the end of the day, and we got so nasty with that song, and we're basically laughing the whole session because nobody's gonna believe us that we did this, and I'm so happy that you like it because it's very un-Norwegian to say that you're proud of something, but we felt something that day, and especially when the horns added. And we gave them free speech, you know, that they can write their own arrangement to it, and they really nail it. So shout out to Bullseye Horns, yes.
Bullseye Horns, they nailed all the horn tracks on this album. They just recorded it and sent the tracks to me, and I just put them in the mix, and it was ready.
Yeah,
it was perfect. It's perfect timing. It's perfect arrangement. It's just perfect. Yeah, and the cool thing about Funk Fluffin' is that it's a jam. Funk Fluffin' is a jam. It's just a jam. It just feel the vibe and just listen and relax. You know, enjoy, dance. That's the thing.
And to be really honest with you, Scott, and now I'm actually telling you some of our funk secrets, because every time Thomas mixed them, I always come back with a little list, you know, like 4 or 5 comments, like we have to do that and make that a little on the one. But there are some parts in Funk Fluffin' when I go like, and the horns come in on the next beat, and it's not perfect, and I decided not to fix it because it's dirty. You know what I mean? Kind of like, not to compare myself with D'Angelo Voodoo, but you know, the imperfections in funk is actually where the funk lies within. So I've had some musicians like, the last two, you go like, hip me, and it's not exactly, I know, it was intentional that way, and not many people understand that, but you, of course, Scott, as a funketeer, hopefully felt the dirtiness, because it's funk fluffing. We're fluffing, you know. It's I don't even know what that word means, to be honest with you. It just sounds dirty.
Sounds good. Sounds dirty. Yeah.
I also like how you name check. You know, like Bitches Brew and Funky Worm and D'Angelo in there.
Yes, sir. Man, thank you. I actually had the pleasure to meet D'Angelo back in 2013, and he was nice compared to Prince. You know, we had that beautiful fist bump, and he flirted with my girlfriend, and it was all just beautiful. Yeah, but you know, it was you know that saying, "Don't meet your idols," and I can happily say that I also met Bootsy in Rotterdam in 2011. He was the nicest person I've ever met. He just saw me, and he like, oh yeah, we're gonna hug. You know, we didn't even handshake. We just hugged, and we probably hugged for like 30 seconds, just smiling to each other. Because I can imagine you probably have met Bootsy, Scott.
I have. It was quite a while ago, but yeah.
I can imagine it was the same kind of vibe, that he was just the real deal. He was the Mr. Positivity, and
totally.
I basically look at him as my uncle, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Uncle Bootsy, yeah.
Uncle Bootsy, yeah.
So that track, as great as it is, flows into another really good one that you guys mentioned before, which is called Latoya.
Oh, yeah.
And that one, to me, has sort of a little bit of a One Nation kind of groove, you know?
Yeah. That is true. That is the exact inspiration for that song. The One Nation type of song. Yeah. It's just... the thing is, it doesn't change until the end. It's the same bass line, same drums, same guitar, all the way. And at the end, there's a different, there's a different part. But it's just, for me, that vibe was so cool I was like, this, I can listen to this forever. I just kept it going in loop and loop. And then I just realized, oh, we're just going to, this is it. We're just going to leave it like that. And then I'll leave everything up to Peter. I'm good. I'm done. Peter, you're up.
The chorus is really fun too. I wanted to mention.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a good chorus.
Yeah.
And it's we're not dissing Latoya. We're actually in the lyrics. We're explaining how some family members can become the black sheep of the family. You know, we're basically explaining it. And I even I actually followed her career, and I find her life fascinating. She's a human too. We can't disregard the sister of Janet and Michael. As I said earlier in this video, she is basically the funk.
Fun thing about that one is also that I sent Peter the track, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what lyrics to put on this one." Immediately, he was like, "This is called Latoya." Peter often have finished ideas, but they're just, the concept is written down, right, Peter? You have written it down, you have the whole idea, so you're just sitting there waiting for a song to put it on.
Yes, sir.
Every time I send you like Zisler and Latoya, you was immediately, this is it. I know.
Are you always scribbling on a notepad?
Oh my God! Every single day, and it's an obsession. Every time I hear a funky sentence, I have to write it down, because otherwise I will forget it. And so, for example, now with the new album we're in the studio working on, the Atomic Bump album, I have so many things, and sometimes Thomas go, "How did you come up with this?" "Oh yeah, it's 6 months ago I wrote that." You know, it's just constantly, but it keeps me alive. You know, that creative juice. I don't know what to compare it to, but it is. I'm not to brag, and apology if it sounds like bragging, but I have a good tendency. I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm quite good at noticing funky sentences that will fit funk music, and hopefully sentences that has not been used in funk music before. You know, like a Norwegian twist on it. You know, because we have to be honest with you. We're two guys from the land of snow up in Norway. You know, not many Americans even know about this country, but we certainly know about you, and we have traveled many times to the States, and I've been many times to New York and Minneapolis and LA, and you know, and I'm so in love with the American culture, but still I like to write from a Norwegian point of view, so to speak.
Well, so moving on, Color Me Intrigued. I feel like a Let It Whip kind of vibe on that, like jazz band type of thing.
That's cool. That's very cool.
We were supposed to have Freak Bass on that song, actually.
What happened?
Well, to be honest with you, he was too busy with some TikTok tour. He's a very nice guy, and I felt like he would be like, you know, to ask Boots is too much, but Freak Bass is, you know, the kind of on our same vibe, so to speak. And I love his two first album dearly. He's a very underrated funk soldier, in my opinion. So
definitely, I would like him to go back to putting out full albums instead of just these tracks all the time.
Yeah, that's
totally,
right.
Totally, yeah.
I saw his band play locally here a few years ago. I think it might have been the last show I saw before the pandemic, maybe. But it was, I enjoyed it. It was good, you know. And then of course they lost their keyboard player, Bill Razor Sharp from Bootsy's Rubber Band.
Yes.
But they were good, and I always liked him. Yeah,
he's cool.
Then you got like a Dr. Funkenstein kind of thing here, at least in the title, Scales of Dr. Bumpenstein.
Yeah, that's the alter ego of Thomas. Basically, he's the mad scientist, and it's basically a love letter from me to him. You know, I'm basically singing about how much I like him, because he always makes me go the weird ways, and if I get stuck with melodies, he just picks up his guitar and go do do do, you know, like the crazy melody, and we put the words in that
Yeah, the fun thing about that song is that the chorus. It's a really special chorus because we mention all the scales.
Yes.
So Peter will sing Mixolydian, and then that scale is Mixolydian.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next scale that I mentioned. Yeah. It's the scale that we're actually singing.
It's educational.
Yes, sir. It's educational.
Yeah. Educational, yeah, exactly. And it's my alter ego. It's the Dr. Bumpenstein vibe. Is of course everybody that knows where it's inspired from, but it's still how it started. It started.
It's a little on the nose. It's a little on the nose. A little on the sore nose, yeah.
Yeah. But it's and I love the lyrics, of course. Thank you, Peter, for writing such beautiful lyrics. It's an homage to everything, basically, because there's a vocoder there in the bass line.
Yeah.
There's how to describe, like flat funk drums, short, intense sound, and jazzy arrangements. So it was just my favorite song to make as a track. I made a track and sent it to Peter, and I was like, this is my favorite. That was the most fun I had in the studio while making instrumentals.
I can also add, and Thomas, stop me if I tell too much, but where my love letter lyrics came from was that Thomas confessed to me back in 2020 that he was feeling, I'm paraphrasing what he told me, but he was feeling that when he was producing K-pop music, he was kind of killing his soul a bit. So he needed to get back on the funk wagon. And I always appreciated that. So on our first album, we have a song called K-Funk Radio, which is basically we're taking the piss out of K-pop. But not taking the piss, but taking Thomas back to the funk. So basically, in the scales of Dr. Bumpenstein, we're celebrating that Thomas is back on the right track. That's basically what I'm talking about. not disrespect. I mean, K-pop is supposed to be where it is, but we are into the funk. Yeah.
Well, in P-Funk parlance, it's rescue music from the Blas.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Another clever title is the Fitness Protection Program.
Yes, that is basically our workout song. We're in my visual vision. I'm just watching people working out. That's why the chorus comes 4 times in a row when it first starts, because you're supposed to not quit until the sweat hits the floor, and that's when the horns go, and
it's inspired by first of all Delight, Groove is in the Heart.
Oh yes, sir.
And then Bernard Wright from the Nard album. There's a lot of the slap bass is basically I listened to that album a lot, and then Nard.
Great album.
I love that album so much, and I just there's something happening. The bass, the slap bass, and then like Bernard Wright's kind of vibe, and then just that song happened, and you started thinking that. But you had the title from before. I think you had the Fitness Protection Program was an idea you had from before. Again,
yes, sir. Yeah.
And then you were like, "Oh, this is it. This is it."
Yeah,
it's a good title, Peter.
Thank you. It's I meant it.
Are you guys familiar with the Sweat Band? The Bootsy.
Oh my God!
Absolutely,
we got it on vinyl, man.
Thing too with the cover and the sweat,
Yes, sir.
They do. Yeah.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because that album, if I'm not mistaken, was released almost the same date as Bootsy's Ultra Wave. And I believe those 2 studio sessions was mixed together. So Ultra Wave and Sweatband was basically recorded at the same time. So for me, that
was running back and forth.
Yeah, recording. Basically, yeah. So that album has a very special part in my heart, special place in my heart. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The next song is another one of my personal favorites, which is The Good, the Bad, and the Funky. It's like a slower, slower, like rapped kind of funk thing, and
Yeah.
reminds me a little bit of Funk by Cameo, and
Oh,
also
wow.
Red Hot Chili Peppers funk.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
cool. I love the cameo reference. I love Funk Funk.
Yeah.
It's such a good song. So that's incredibly. That makes me proud, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's like the references. That's just amazing.
I,
It's
I'm going. Yeah.
it's just how to make a pure funk song. I mean, that's what we
Yeah.
do all the time. But this is like pure. I think
Yeah.
this one's different. It's pure funk.
We actually talked like we need an album track, not a single track, but just an album track that is so obviously an album track that we are basically talking about it in the song. We're recording live in the bomb shelter. There's just like we're taking our time on this one because we're just funky. And the funny thing is that in my head, I thought that the chorus would have less lyrics, and suddenly Thomas said to me, Peter, you should add some "I would if I could" in my neighborhood. So basically, that's Thomas' idea, because I was supposed to just do "we good, we bad, we funky" and
Yeah.
nothing else. So Thomas actually contributed with lyrics as well, and I like, okay, now we're a real band. Now we're a real band. Now we do everything together. So, but we really enjoyed recording that song. I must say
That was a fun session. That was a really fun session. We had a lot of laughs. We were like laughing while coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And I think we do that a lot. We laugh a lot and we're like, oh, that's fun. Let's try that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
We just want that vibe. I mean, basically, we make music that we want to listen to ourselves.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. If we don't like it, we don't play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
With 21 tracks, I was thinking it must have been a challenge to decide on the sequencing.
Yes. Yes. Thomas was gracious enough to give me that job. And
I was busy with mixing and all kinds of other stuff. So Peter, this is your job.
Yeah, and I'm very happy you said that, Scott, because it is so much harder than people think. But I wanted to go out with a bang. Side A is very much horn driven, very much up energy, and then we turn the B side, also turn into the side B, and then we go to the Quincy Jones produced and the Dirty together. And then, of course, side C and side D, you can take a little more chances, because if you still get people's attention, then you need to get them hooked on the first 6 songs. It's very important, yeah. And so it kind of like goes crazy. So basically, the last song that is called "Bonus Jam in Hologram," it is what it says. It's just a bonus jam where we basically just say, "Hey, we did it! We freaking did it! We completed the record."
It's
so
like your medal or something at the end.
Yes,
yes, exactly. The prize.
We actually managed to get everything we wanted except one thing on the title track, "Guilty as Funk." That is the last song but one, track number 20. We personally asked George Clinton to be the judge in that song, because we have to be real with ourselves. As I said earlier, we were 2 white men that loves funk, and we call it for culture vulture sometimes in the political language, and but we, for us, of course, funk is colorblind, and that's basically why we didn't want our picture of our faces on the album cover this time, because we wanted it to be seen as a funk record that you just put your own visual aspect to it. And but we're not stupid, but we like to play with we like to fool around with the dumb ideas and make them sparkle. It's very hard to explain, but it's something in the intro as well. Some people will not sanction our buffoonery, and it's, for me, that's a very beautiful funky sentence that I embrace wholeheartedly. I believe even Tommy Lee Jones said that to Jim Carrey when Jim Carrey was playing the Riddler in the movie Batman Returns. I mean, off stage, he's like, Tommy Lee Jones, I just can't sanction your buffoonery, because he didn't like what Jim Carrey did. I, however, loved what Jim Carrey did with the Riddler. For me, that's funk. He was a funky character. More funky than Jack Nicholson, I might say. But that's neither here nor there. So basically, we do like going crazy. And if people think we're crazy, we take it as a compliment.
Very good.
Well, and you mentioned the title track, which is another one of my favorites.
Wow.
It's got that go-go funk vibe,
Yes,
That's a hot one.
Yeah. Yes. Indeed. That's
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. We knew we had something there. I have to be honest with you, Scott. The judge and the jury, and we were guilty as funk. Where it's a very deep. It might be the song, complete song on the album that we're most proud of. So it was actually, once again, kudos to Thomas. He just told me we should call the album "Guilty as Funk." He just one day told me. And I'm like, what about Cyberfunk Synthesia? No, we're way over that. It's a double album now. It needs it needs a crystal ball-ish title, not to brag, but when he said Guilty as Funk, I just went straight home and wrote the entire story behind. So Thomas gave me that title and the album title. So thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Yeah.
Well, it's always nice when, a record's title is also one of the killer tracks,
Yeah. That's true.
It's
It's always important that that works.
Yeah.
Because it helps really ingrain, in the listener and fan's mind that the title, because it's both. It's both. It's the record and the song. So
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Return the
glad we did.
Favor before it has a really interesting rhythm, more syncopated, I would say, than most of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually it's a bit inspired by Questlove and by old school James Brown.
Yes.
So the first thing I did with that song was the rhythm. That was the only thing I had. I basically composed the song. There was a composition only with beat. So I had the beat. It's got a bit of a weird twist at the start, and then it straightens up, and then goes to the ride cymbal and back again. So that's what the first thing I did. I set up the drum track, and then I started playing. So the composition was done only with drums, because that's the most important thing in the song.
Yes.
They drive the whole song throughout the song. And then I started adding bass and guitar, and then I kind of realized, oh, this is going the right way.
Yeah. It's
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that's the most important thing of the whole song.
I can tell you an interesting trivia about that song too, Scott, and that is that it was basically the last song we recorded for the album. So I was kind of dried out. I had nothing left, and basically Thomas like, we need a song. And once again, Thomas came up with the title. He like, we need a song where we return the flavor, as he said. Like we have to thank the people that came before us, Bootsy and the rest of them. And so ironically, we wanted that one to be released as a single first, because it was the last track. It was like the last sweat, the last lyric I had left on my sheet. So it was.
And the last drop of voice you had left.
Yeah.
You spent all the last drop on that song. That was your last. That was after that. There was no singing for quite a while.
Yeah. True.
It was quite intense for Peter recording 21 songs, as it is,
and I have to say one more thing, Scott, that might be interesting for both you and the listeners and viewers. It's that on our first album, Where Is New Cool, we used 1 year to make that album. Our second album, He Who Dares Flares, we used 2 years. And now on our third album, we actually used 3 years on this album. And for me, as I'm kind of impatient. So as I said earlier, when we had 12 tracks ready, I like, let's release this. But Thomas is the calm producer. He's like, no, we need to give them more. So I have actually been like on my toes for the last 15 months. Like we should get this out, but he takes his time. And I respect that, but it
was worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on it. It's quite a piece of work.
Thank you so much. That's so nice to hear. Thank you.
And from where I am, just so much gratitude for me, and also just all the viewers and listeners of this show and the platform. Thank you for keeping the funk alive, for producing new funk music.
Wow.
We can't get enough, and it's underserved still, I think, overall. So we're out here. We appreciate it.
Oh,
That's so
man.
nice to hear. Thank you so much. That warms our hearts. That's just beautiful. We're in the studio all the time making it and
Yes.
making the music, and then we go out there with the songs, and hopefully people will listen. That's our feeling.
Yeah.
We're happy.
Yeah.
We love what we have released. We love the vibe, and then if someone else picks that up, that's just such a huge bonus for us.
And I must say, Scott, that you, of all people, Mr. Funk and stuff, give us that nice compliment. Not only do we appreciate it, but it encourages us to keep on keeping on. And even
Definitely.
with shout outs to Funkatopia as well. Been so nice to us, giving us. Even Ricky Vincent has sent me messages like he really likes what we're doing, and it's just makes us so happy. And that's basically all we need to continue making funk music. We will do this 50 more years. Yeah.
I have some other good news for you. Just a couple days ago, I taped our year-end special show, which is going to premiere tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yeah.
And reveal top albums of the year, and you are on my list. So,
Oh wow!
My God!
Thank you so much.
Top
Thank
20,
you
you're in there. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
my God.
amazing. Oh my
wow.
God!
Thank you.
I get now. I'm getting the goosebumps.
Cue the goosebumps.
Exactly. That's just what happens.
So if you watch tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern, will be the first the premiere, U.S. New York time.
Wow.
You'll see it, and on that show also is Ricky Vincent and
Wow.
Scott Galloway and Carl Doss.
Wow.
So the four of us pick our records. I'm the only one that had your record, but
That's cool. Yeah.
But Ricky did say, he knew you guys and you guys bring it. So, yeah.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Oh, my
I have his
God.
book, and I can actually say one more funny thing about Ricky Vincent is that I remember buying his book, it's many years ago, like almost 20 years ago. And I was so excited to see what he thought about Ultra Wave, the Bootsy album, because I love that album so much. And he explained it with one word. It was like 5 stars out of 5. And he just wrote one word, and it was preposterous. Like, okay, we are in sync. Like that, he just described the album with one word and the full star. So he is definitely my brother. Definitely.
Yeah, it's fun that you mention it. I think actually.
And the whole thing you're saying about
It's right here.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
there it is. A mint copy. It looks like it's in pretty good shape, that one.
This is pretty good shape, but I think it's a repressing. That was the only one I could get. But
Yeah, it's a
the fun
repressing,
thing,
Blue.
blue,
Blue.
and that fits the album perfectly.
But
this
sorry,
is the
Scott.
one-
Sorry.
This is one of the most important Bob Squad
Inspirations.
Yeah.
But sorry, Scott. We interrupted you. You were about to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying about the racial side of it.
Yeah.
Is that funk in a way has followed, the way rock and roll and blues kind of did in a way with, the black artists
Yes.
trailblazing and kind of creating it, and then, white folks embracing it and
Yes.
doing their thing with it. So I think
Yes.
funk has kind of come the same way, because a lot of the newer groups that are still really funky are either, all white or have a lot of white members. I mean, I'm thinking of people like Lettuce.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know these bands.
Oh yeah, of course. They
Absolutely.
tour in Norway all the time. We haven't seen them in Norway. Yeah.
and Galactic and Snarky
and
Puppy.
Wolf, Snarky Puppy, and I saw them this summer. I was there was in a jazz festival in Norway. And Snarky Puppy.
Wolfpack and
Yes, sir. I love Wolfpack.
so I mean, all these groups, now the Red Hot Chili Peppers before,
Yes.
so
Jamiroquai,
yep. So
It is very interesting. Of course, we have friends, me and Thomas, that have African genes and relatives that also join the party. But yeah, it is true what you're saying, Scott, and it is fascinating. But both me and Thomas also have a love for hip hop, so we also connect with that. But even there are Caucasian stars, if that's the word.
Well, it's about keeping the funk alive, and that's basically what you do. You just keep it alive, because the only thing that matters is great music.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
If you feel it in your soul, it's going to translate,
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about in the beginning, like the inspiration from my parents' albums. It's just in the soul, and it needs to come out. It always needs to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to make sure that I get in you guys telling everybody where they can get your record and all that kind of good stuff. So,
okay.
I want you.
Yes. I can. We are signed to a legendary Norwegian record company called C+C Records. It's run by a very famous Norwegian called Christer Falk. And on Spotify and iTunes, you find us under the band name The Bump Squad. And basically, we always publish or release our albums on vinyl as well, and colored vinyl especially. So,
so it can be ordered on his web shop on C+C Records.
Yes, sir. So just Google Bump Squad vinyl, you will find the info, and it's cool. It's cool. Our last album, we are so bold that we made the vinyl gold. We're giving us the platinum vibe. Kind of inspired by Bootsy once again. With Funk Album of the Year, he gave himself that title. We are guilty as funk. So it's hopefully Bootsy will watch this.
Do you ever do shows? Do you perform on stage?
Oh, we're totally in deals with the Norwegian jazz festivals. I am in dialogue. We have a high price because we need, the full horn section and the break dancer, the B-boys and B-girls. We're putting on a P-Funk extravaganza show, and it costs a bit, but we are now in dialogue with 10 different jazz festivals, because luckily in Norway and Sweden and Denmark, jazz festivals love funk bands. It's like jazz is almost synonymous with funk when it comes to the live stage. So we are in dialogue, and
it's a bit of a challenge. Sorry. It's a bit of a challenge to put together that band, because it's a huge group. To be able to play all to be able to play all the parts from the record, it's that simple. We need percussion, we need the drummer, we need the bass guitar, of course, we need 2 guitarists, we need several synths, we need horns, we need backup singer. It's a big production.
It's basically P-Funk All-Stars. So what we have chipped in is a high price. I can even say the price. It's about $25,000, to book us. You know what I mean? That's like the price. And people are in dialogue because they have listened to the third album. And one person told me, I can imagine the song Call Latoya will explode as a live version. And it's funny because we actually talked about that earlier today. So we are in dialogue, but we are not going half-hearted on the live stage. When we do the live thing, we are going full throttle, full P-Funk All-Stars, and with dancers and everything. We are basically grandchildren of Parliament Funkadelic.
So how can people keep up with you, in terms of what you have in the pipeline, if you're going to do shows?
Oh, yeah, we have a Facebook page that is called The Bump Squad, and we also have an Instagram that is called The Bump Squad Official. So, some pregnant women in New York stole the Bump Squad on Instagram.
That's funky.
That is funky. They have the bump on their stomach, so they have their own squad. We respect that, so we became Bump Squad Official.
But that's where people can follow the Bump Squad Official on Instagram. That's where you can get all the information. Also on Facebook.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Peter and Thomas, it's been a blast. And
thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This was such a nice session.
Yeah, we'll connect again when your next one comes out.
Oh,
definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
it's
you want to know
that
a fun
long,
fact?
actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it will probably come out next year. Yeah.
Yeah, it will. It will.
And fun trivia for both you and your viewers. The time in Norway right now is almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. I was going to ask you guys I forgot what the difference was, but I appreciate
Yeah.
you staying up so late to do this.
Yeah,
Our
so worth
pleasure.
it. I mean, we were looking
worth
forward to this so much, so this is so worth it.
You guys be good.
You too.
Love,
Okay.
peace, and chicken grease.
Works for me.